Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that whenever and wherever you are on the planet while listening to this recording, that you are remembering to have compassion for strangers, for people that you hear about on the news, people that are suffering that you read about in the newspaper or online, and that you remember that everybody is you and you are everybody. I was watching an episode of Orange is the New Black today, and I was really shocked and saddened by one scene in which there's a courtroom filled with little children that don't have a parent present or any adult to guide them, or no lawyers, no one to help them. And they are expected to legally stand up for themselves in court and explain why they should not be deported from the United States. I don't know if that's exactly what is happening, but I have a feeling it is, because they're separating the children from the parents and putting them even in a different warehouse in a cage. The teenagers have to take care of the babies. Siblings are being separated on purpose. So, as an act of practicing compassion, maybe think about that and feel love for these children and send love to these children and pray for them. We don't know what horrors their parents had to escape in order to make a better life for their children, and then they got caught because they were illegal. And what I think is happening is the reason why so many people are illegal is they literally are clueless. They don't have resources. They don't know what it takes they don't even know what words to look up on Google, on their iPhone or whatever phone, or on the internet. They just don't know. They don't know what to look up. Not everyone has the mental capacity to be resourceful like that. I'm extremely resourceful, and I've helped a lot of people with things that they never even considered. People that have a disease, and I say, well, why don't you look up the words cure for, and then put the name of your disease. Cure for lupus, cure for cancer. Because you'll be surprised what you find online. Some of the stuff might be bullshit, but I mean, some of the stuff might be absolutely real. It might actually work for you. So these people, a lot of times that are refugees, are running for their lives. I know that a lot of the Venezolanos that I've met, people from Venezuela, they are absolutely terrified of what the government is doing right now. It's not on the news. There's a huge blackout in the news, in the media, around the world. I get my news directly from the people from that country. It's really terrible. And there's a lot of Colombian refugees right now coming this way because the cartel has taken over so much of the borderlands of, next to, well, what we call the frontera, the border between Ecuador and Peru. Ecuador and Peru. The other border, Ecuador and Colombia, because the cartel wants people's lands and they're threatening their families and their lives and they're scared. They're leaving behind like ranches and farms and their homes because they're so scared. They're not even taking time to sell their property. They're just leaving. They're hoping someday it'll get better and they can return, but I don't know. I mean, it's not like they're sneaking over the border because of, it's not because everybody dreams of like making it big and becoming a millionaire. A lot of times people are just running, people are not chasing the American dream. They're just running away from a nightmare in their own countries, what is really happening. I don't know. My first reaction when I saw that scene in this show was that I kind of wish that I had a degree in law, in immigration law, so that I could go and help these little kids. But they don't even have any resources. They're little kids. Some of them are so little they can't even read. How would they even know what their case is? Let alone, they might not even know their birthday. When kids are really little, it's not that they're dumb. They just don't remember their birthday, until they're like 5 or 6, and then they might remember. But, it just kind of seems so random when you're very little. A lot of them probably don't know their mom and dad's full names. They probably just call them mom and dad. They might not even know like their mom's first name. And I've been thinking about ways that we could help these kids. I don't know. I hope that there are some ideas out there that are being implemented. They're actually helping. I know that I donated, like last month, I donated $15 to an organization called Act Blue. I think it's actblue.org. And then my money went towards clothing and diapers. But $15 is not much. That's like one big thing of diapers at Walmart. That's it. I mean, I'm sure that my $15 only helped for like maybe one day. Maybe even half a day because there's so many babies there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we can do other than keep our own vibration high, which raises the vibration of the planet, and also just sending them compassion, energy of love, compassion, speaking up, signing petitions when you can, being brave and standing up to people who say that these people are just illegals. So screw them, because you know what? A 4-year-old kid doesn't understand what the hell that means. Even 12-year-olds don't understand what that means, really. It's just random. We were on this land over here that had desert in it. Now we're on this land that has a little bit more greenery in it. Like, what's the difference? It doesn't seem like there's a difference. And, these people over here speak one language, but these people over there speak a different language. That's all. Maybe the food's a little different. It's weird. But to little kids that don't really understand what's happening, if their mom and dads don't tell them everything, you know what I mean? I don't know. All of this is really, it's been very much disturbing me. And for weeks, actually months, I don't even know what we can do about it other than raise our vibration, send them love and compassion, send our prayers, hook them up to the healing grid, which I'm going to do. Just did it. All right, and the parents too. And the people that aren't parents. Okay, boom. That was easy. I just did that. So I don't know. It's just some of these weird things have been on my mind. And at the same time, I know and recognize that these little kids aren't just random, beings, that they actually have souls. And They were once adults in another life. They came from heaven like we all did. This was the plan. This was their plan. And I think it's an ongoing plan to expose the racism so that in the United States, so that it can be looked at under a microscope on a global scale. Because that can't happen anymore. So as hard and painful as all of this is, I think that in a way, those brave little souls came here to be an example of how not to treat people. You know, these detainees, like, they're real people. And it's just, to me, it's just so sad what's happening over there with them. All right, I am trying to look up our lesson in A Course in Miracles. We're going to do that first. All right. Okay. We are reviewing, as you remember, we're now going to review our third set of reviews. We're in A Course in Miracles, acim.org, or on A Course in Miracles apps that you could download for free. Pick your favorite with your favorite colors. That's pretty much, they're all the same except the colors and the way that it functions. Some are huge, some are pretty small in megabytes. So lesson 53 in A Course in Miracles include the basic ideas. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images that I have made. So I'm going to read the description for the last one because this is going to help me with what I was just talking about, and it'll help you guys too with it. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. That's fucking deep, man. Okay, it doesn't say that part. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. It is my thoughts that tell me where I am and what I am. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts. And am not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent, it's a great word. I'm not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. Yet God's way is sure. The images I have made cannot prevail against Him, because it is not my will that they do so. My will is His, and I will place no other gods before Him. Oh, that was like pretty deep, right? All right, our scale of ascension symptoms, our SAS number, is today 99. I don't know about y'all, but I've been very tired today. I had some energy earlier in the day, and I was able to get some cleaning in my house done. Just basic stuff, dishes, cleaned off countertops, stuff like that. Getting ready to declutter this week. Mercury is going direct, and I feel like that's going to give me this impetus and forward push. I'm still like in today's the 31st, and then tomorrow's August 1st, and then the next day, thank you God, Mercury goes direct. We still have 7 days after that to still be cautious and take it easy. Just as a warning. Don't forget that tomorrow is it tomorrow? Or is it the next day? The new moon. The new super black moon. Or the super new black moon. It's going to be a really huge moon that we can't see close to the Earth. The second one this month. The second new moon this month. And that's pretty crazy. Eclipse season is over. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. So not only is there a crack in the magnetosphere, there's also now a giant crack in the magnetosphere of the sun. It's right now facing us, facing Earth. And what this means is that a mass, like a coronal mass ejection, like a big one that's been brewing from the sun, will be able to burst forth and pretty much coat the Earth. And since we have a crack in our magnetosphere, it's just going to cover the Earth. Wherever the Earth is pointing or facing at that moment in which it reaches. And they are expecting this to reach us August 4th. The scientists that are monitoring the sun are saying that on August 4th, we're going to have a coronal mass ejection from the sun that will probably most likely hit Earth. When the magnetosphere around the sun is pretty much got a big ass hole in it, it just leaks plasma our way. That means that it's possible your refrigerators won't be running, you won't have electricity, or satellites could go out. You might not get cell service. We might not have electricity at all. And for a lot of people, that means your toilets might not flush. I don't know, guys. It's possible that after August 4th, if we're out of electricity down here, I won't be able to put my show out. I'll do my best to record it, but without internet, it won't upload. And after a day or two, just whatever I record kind of goes to the wayside. I'll do my best. And if you guys end up without power for days or weeks or months and you miss the show, don't forget that when you get everything restored, I will still be here pumping out the show every single day. Hopefully I won't be without electricity. Hopefully you won't be without electricity. Hopefully we'll all be safe and fine. The only thing we could do is just pray about it. And also prepare in case. I don't know, maybe buy yourself a barbecue, like little barbecue pit. And so you could cook outside, never use it inside, obviously. But I don't know. I mean, you might have natural gas in your home to cook food and heat your house when it gets cold. But since it's going to be really hot, that basically means air conditioners. And if you have no electricity, that basically means what, I guess? Man, I mean, does your house use electricity to pump water? Maybe, right? I guess my best advice is to find your nearest resource of water. Go stock up on a bunch of, I don't know what, canned food. It won't spoil for up to 5 or 10 years. Go get as much, top ramen noodles. You don't have to eat the junk, the spicy stuff that it tastes good, but it's got all kinds of crap you don't need. But you can use the noodles. You could soak oatmeal in water overnight without actually cooking it. Cold oatmeal isn't the best, but if you have steel cut rolled oats or the really hearty kind, it's not. I've had to do this. It's not half bad. It's too late to grow your own food by August 4th, but more power to you if you've already done that. You're not going to be able to go very far in your cars because after your car runs out of gas, you can't really pump your car full of gas because that's reliant on electricity. If you can afford it, go get a generator in case. I don't know. I'm praying for all of you, everyone in Europe especially, everyone in the United States and Canada especially, because I feel like it's extra hot there. It's been very cold here where I am. It's been the opposite. We haven't had freezing. We've had little bits of hail and freezing mist. I've woken up to the sound of frozen mist hitting the window, as well as hail many times. But we don't really have snow here, thank you God. And it's been very cold at night. Cold for Ecuador. It's been 47 degrees here in the Andes Mountains. Down on the coast, it's still hot, but there's been a lot of hot and cold pockets roaming throughout the earth. So I don't know why that is. It's really crazy. It's scary. But again, all we could do is keep our vibrations high and our intentions positive and know that we're all held in the hands of God. We're going to be okay. Or the hands of the universe, whatever you want to say. Whatever you believe, of course. I don't know. I want you guys to be prepared, though. August 4th is coming up. I'm getting ready to do this major Bitcoin trade, and I'm so scared. If the whole thing, if everything crashes and there's no electricity, I don't even know what's going to happen with it. But, it might only be a couple days or a couple weeks or it might be months. If it hits hard enough, it could be up to a year. I'm hoping that whatever happens, that it bursts out the other side of the sun. So, whatever plasma comes our way is strong enough to change our DNA, give us our downloads and our upgrades, but not strong enough to knock out our whole technological way of life. It's kind of scary, but we just have to trust in the universe at this point. There's not really much we can do about it. Not a whole lot. We have zero control over the actual sun itself, so I don't know. I just want you guys to kind of brace yourselves. I know that the last 2 mornings when the sun comes up, it's lighting my room up like I have an extremely high wattage light bulb inside my room. And this is on the other side of my really thick black curtains. And it's just like I don't have curtains at all. It's like there's no wall at all in this apartment. And the sun is just right there, practically in my room. I've woken up a couple mornings just so hot, and it's so bright. It hurts my eyes, even if my eyes are under a blanket. It's like it doesn't seem to matter. The sun has been extremely strong. It's been very weird. Anyway, I'm going to read to you from disclosure.it right now about the Schumann resonance. So the 10:30 a.m. report says, the activity from the early hours of today has remained light with continuous oscillations of the amplitude between 10 and 20 hertz. At 7 UTC instead, more intense movements began, which culminated with a sudden peak at 65 Hertz at 8:30 UTC. Then the evening report at 1700 says, the movements in the last 24 hours took place over a continuous period of 18 hours, from 5 p.m. until yesterday until 11 a.m. UTC time today. The maximum peaks are those reported in their previous updates, as in the last 5 hours, the situation is calm. So basically 65 Hertz in Italy. All right, we're going to go over. All right, I'm going to kind of read all the cities just because there's some pretty, at least for Canada, there's some strange movements, and everything seems a lot lower than it's been overall. All right, so California, USA, we're going to go through each city and list for like 4 hours what happened. All right, California, at midnight was 119 Hertz frequency. Then it went up to 117 Hertz frequency at 1. 2 o'clock was 114. 3 o'clock was 112. And then it was 111 at 4 a.m. All right. So in Hofuf, Saudi Arabia, we started off at midnight at 91 Hertz frequency. And it remained that pretty much like through 3 more hours, but then it changed at 4 a.m. when it went down to 88. So basically it went from 91, 91, 91, 91, and then to 88. Okay, so in Lithuania, their Hertz frequency was quite low. It started at 26 at midnight. At 1 a.m., it went down to 20. And at 2 a.m., it went down to 13. At 3 a.m., it went down to 6 Hertz frequency. And at 4 a.m., it went down to absolutely 0. All right, so in Alberta, Canada, the Hertz frequency at midnight was 74. An hour later, it went down to 58. An hour later, it went down to 39. An hour later, at 3 a.m., it went down to 20 Hertz frequency. And at 4 o'clock, it went down to absolutely 0 again. It just bottomed out with Lithuania. Okay, so in Northland, New Zealand, the Hertz frequency started off at midnight at 65. Then it stayed the same. Went down at 2 a.m. to 64. And at 3 a.m. it went down to 63 just by 1. And went down to 62 at 4 a.m. And last but not least, in Hulului, South Africa. You cannot say that name without absolutely smiling. It's so fun to say, Hulului. I think if you said that when you were sad, you'd feel so good. So in Hulului, South Africa, the Hertz frequency at midnight was 15. It went down to 12 at 1 a.m. At 2 a.m., it went down to 7. And it went down to 3 at 3 a.m. And at 4 a.m., it bottomed out and went completely to 0. Flatlining. For 3 places, it flatlined. I mean, that's just crazy, right? So Lithuania, Alberta, Canada, and Hulului, South Africa, at 4 a.m. were all at 0 Hertz frequency. All right, so let's see where I'm at. All right, when I come back, I'm going to talk about how to reinvent yourself on every level. And that'll be when we come back. It's a very quick break, so don't worry. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or build a better mousetrap so the world beats a path down to your door, unless you want to. But every individual has to go through changes throughout their life. You know, we have all these milestones when we're a little baby. Our first step, our first word, our first haircut. First time we eat solid food, our first friendship, our first fight with a friend. You know, there's a lot of different milestones when you're really little. And then you have to reinvent yourself when you go to school, especially like junior high, and then high school, and then university if you go. That's also pretty big reinvention. And you might find yourself trying on a lot of hats your first year in college when you're a freshman. But when you're an adult, your milestones are few and far between. There's your first love, there's your first kiss, there's your first mortgage, your first career or job. But after that, there's not a whole hell of a lot of milestones. You know, women eventually hit menopause. Your first divorce, that might be a milestone for 75% of Americans, I think it is. But sometimes you're stuck and you just don't realize that you need to reinvent yourself like you did when you were younger. You know, so, and I don't mean like reinventing yourself into a stereotype, like, you know what, I'm going to reinvent myself and this year I'm going goth. I'm going to wear black lipstick and dye my hair black, wear black nail polish, and I'm going to start smoking clove cigarettes and wearing all black clothes. I don't mean like that. I went through a phase like that just because I thought it was super fun. And I got to a point where I thought of all the clothes in my closet when I was in college. All the clothes in my closet weren't really clothes, they were costumes. Who am I going to be today? So sometimes I'd dress in BDUs and combat boots, and I'd wear my dad's dog tags from when he was in the Navy. And I just put those around my neck. I'd be like, yeah, that's me. You want to come at me? I'm a military chick, right? And that was like the vibe I'd set off. And then other days I'd dress like a biker and I'd wear like a black leather coat. Other days it would be my I don't give a crap day, and I'd be wearing sweats and t-shirt and high top, like basketball shoes, you know. But I had like a closet full of costumes. It was just like life is a stage and all the world are just merely players in it, and I'm going to play my part, but every day I'm going to be a different person. And I was cycling in and out all of these, like some days I'm the gothic chick and I'm wearing black nail polish and black lipstick. And sometimes I was, the pretty jock and I'd have the fresh face makeup and hair in a ponytail. And, and I've done that throughout my life a lot. I've had like whole years where all I wear is dresses, whole years where all I wear is jeans, whole years where all I wear is sweatpants. I call those the giving up years. Pretty much when my kids were very little, I was just like, I'm not going to try to look good. It just kind of flies out the window for a while. But if you want to make a big change and you're feeling restless in your soul, down to your core, and you can feel it in your bones that you need a personal revolution, I'm going to talk about how to reinvent yourself tonight. Because you're not going to stay the same person throughout your whole life. You're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to change, your style is going to change, your taste in music is going to change. I mean, it's okay if you're 16 years old and you hate jazz. And then when you're 30 years old, you discover a new love for going to jazz clubs and sipping white wine while listening to the band live. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with suddenly having a need to listen to new age music or classical music. Or if you've been about heavy metal your whole life and then you decide maybe you need something a little mellower. Because you need to soothe your soul and you need to feel good. And maybe that was what was the source of your anxiety. You know what I mean? So sometimes we have to look at all the aspects of our life, and sometimes we just have to make big, huge, sweeping changes in order to grow and feel better about who we are. You always have to keep in touch and keep in tune with the way that you're growing. Don't wear hippie style broom skirts for 10 years and think that that's all you're ever going to, aspire to fashion wise or whatever. Maybe that's like your lifestyle. It's who you are. And don't feel guilty about wanting to just class that up a little bit. Or change styles completely. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we outgrow our significant others, our husbands or wives. Sometimes we outgrow our friends. Sometimes we outgrow the crowd that we run with. And that's okay. And it doesn't mean that you're better than those people. It's just that you're going in a different direction. And that's all it means. But you can't be afraid to change, because everything around you is going to change anyway. So you have to accept the changes and accept yourself for wanting to change. So we're going to go over what are some of these changes that you can do to kind of give yourself an upgrade. Or update your look, update your style, update your spiritual practices. So we're going to take a look tonight at every single thing at least that I can think of right now, that's in your life, ways that you can become more in harmony with who you are at a soul level, on how to have more integrity. And having integrity means that you are in alignment with who you are at a soul level. You know, like if you are at a soul level, a deeply honest person, and then you start running with a crowd of shoplifters, which I know no one here listening to the show is doing this, but you know, when you're a teenager, this happens, right? You know, you're a goody two-shoes, getting straight A's, you fall into the wrong crowd, and suddenly you're skipping school, smoking outside in the backyard of the school, or maybe you're sneaking vodka out of the 7-Eleven or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but you know that at your core level, your soul level, you're still that goody two-shoes person. You always want to do the right thing. You want to please everybody. You know, you want to be, and by the way, this is not autobiographical. I never stole booze or anything. I paid people's older brothers to buy it. Yes, I was suspended from high school for drinking and getting a whole bunch of people on the bus drunk. On the way to a football game. And at the science fair, I kind of blew up my life when I allowed some boys to party in the room with me, and we smoked a lot of weed. We drank a lot of booze. When they caught me, I was so drunk and so high. And I was suspended for 2 weeks, and I was like so happy because I got to spend 2 whole weeks with my dad alone during the day because it was winter. And my dad was a roofer, and so he had zero work while all the people's houses were covered in snow. So we got to catch up on Days of Our Lives, which was very popular in the 80s, and General Hospital. They're both still around, those shows. So it was kind of nice. It gave me something to talk to my great-grandmother about because she could not live without seeing Jack Wagner, knowing what, you know, everyone on General Hospital was up to back in the 80s. I mean, those were the Rick Springfield days. By God, that was a good show, watching Rick Springfield play a doctor on TV. He actually reinvented himself lately when he got together with an orchestra, a symphony, and remade all of his old songs as classical music, like including Jesse's Girl. I couldn't believe it. How cool is that? It was strange to hear the songs like this, but it worked in a really strange way. It was very cool. There's been a lot of people that have not been afraid to reinvent themselves lately, the past few years. Johnny Depp is now a rock and roller. He's going around with Hollywood vampires, and he's very talented, very good on the guitar. He's a really good singer, and I'm really happy for him. It's really weird because his wish was always to do that, and he stumbled into acting, so he reinvented himself, became one of the best actors ever. Then he reinvented himself again, back into his former love. The one thing he wanted to do more than anything was sing and play guitar, and I respect that. I think it's awesome. You know, there's a lot of people that reinvent themselves. And sometimes it's necessary to become more in alignment with who you are. So, how do you reinvent yourself personally? Well, you could look at things like the way you smile, even like the facial expressions you have. Like maybe you're making facial expressions that you saw on somebody else's face in your past, and you're trying to mimic them. Especially if you're like a shy, awkward introvert. a lot of times you don't really know how to act, or if you're a little bit on the spectrum, you have a little bit of autism going and you kind of don't know how to react. And it's hard sometimes to be in that situation where you're like, I don't know if it's appropriate right now. So then you look at everybody else and you try to make the same face. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but I've run across several people that I thought they might have been on the spectrum. I kind of question whether I am sometimes. It's like, I don't know. I might be, actually. I tested positive on a test I took the other day. I don't know if that means anything. It was online. You know, it could go either way. PsychCentral.com. Is that real? I don't know. But sometimes your laugh might be like when you're really little and you have your aunt's laugh, your favorite aunt's laugh. You want to laugh just like her, because that's what you think. Well, if I laugh like her, my life will be like hers, and she has an amazing life. I talked to somebody once who told me that she started smoking cigarettes because her favorite aunt, was very wealthy, owned a horse ranch, and went riding every day. And she had this glamorous life, living on a ranch with all these horses. Then she would go to these gala balls, and she had beautiful gowns. And she wanted to be just like this aunt. This aunt of hers was very beautiful and like a model. And she was very sexy and vibrant and alive. And the one thing that she associated with her aunt more than anything is how beautiful and elegant she looked while she smoked cigarettes. It's like the wrong thing to imprint upon, but a lot of people do that. That's called identification smoker in hypnotherapy. That's a pretty strong one. And so it took her like 20, 30 years to unravel the idea that was why she was a smoker, why she couldn't quit. Because she didn't get a horse ranch yet. She didn't become her aunt yet. So sometimes it's necessary to look at the weird things, like if you have a behavior in your personality that really is something that's mimicking someone else, and you might not be aware of it consciously. So you need to take a personal inventory and ask yourself, is my smile even do I smile lopsided on one side of my face because my favorite uncle did that? You know what I mean? Or maybe your dad did that and your dad left the world too early, and maybe now that's what you want to be like him. You want to have a big booming laugh and smile lopsided and kind of, walk a little bit like John Wayne. Sometimes people do that. They imprint on the people that imprinted, that made the biggest impression on their life, right? So sometimes you might want to change your laugh because you might associate a new laugh with a new life. It's really weird, but some people need to do that. Your hair, your clothing, that conveys your personality. And if your hair and clothing is not conveying who you truly are, you might want to fix it. I mean, if you have super long hair and you're wearing hippie clothes, but you want to be a corporate Wall Street type of person, then why are you dressing in a whole different subset of, like a subculture? Why do you do that? So you have to look at yourself. Or what if you're dressing like Alex P. Keaton, but you want to be more laid back? You want to fly to Peru and get the hippie pants, which incidentally are also sold here in Ecuador and also Colombia. Oh, here goes the crow. The crow does not like that, right? Here. I do need to do something with that crow. I forgot that. Okay. Cool. All right. So, all right. So I know these are just surface examples, but this is the first layer. Okay. Now we're going to go to spirituality. So is your connection with the divine where you want it to be? If you've been forced to go to church your whole life, but you're really an atheist, are you still going to church to please the people in your past that don't even know if you're going or not? That's not being in integrity and alignment. If you're an atheist, you should not go to church. Most atheists know that, but some people, you might be stuck. I mean, are you still stuck going to Catholic services and you just really can't stand it? Afraid to have your kids around the priests? You know? Is there like a bad energy in the church? I mean, I went to the Church of the Devil. This guy tricked the devil to get his work done in one whole night. Whether it's true or not, it's a crazy story. But I did not feel the presence of anything good there. I felt the presence of demons all around that church. Black clouds, not gray, black, not even cobalt blue, but just jet black clouds were hanging over that church. Craziest thing I ever saw. But if you want a stronger connection with the divine, are you going about the right way for yourself? Like, are you doing hot yoga all the time and you haven't realized that you really freaking hate yoga? Maybe you don't have the body for it. Maybe it's not really helping you. Maybe every time you go to yoga, you body shame yourself because you're not getting the long, lithe, skinny ass body that the instructor has. I mean, a lot of yoga instructors, they're all super tall, they're super thin, they're really lanky and lean, and you think that they got their body from yoga, but the fact of the matter is it's usually genetics, and they gravitate towards what suits them, right? They're in alignment and integrity. They look beautiful doing the poses. They do everything perfect. They're not fat or stocky or short. They're always tall. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that if you ever go to yoga. I was always the really awkward one in the room where I don't look like I even belong there. Like, I'm pretty short, I'm pretty muscular, and I'm like not a tall, skinny, lean chick that has teeny tiny boobs and can look really great in a unitard. Because I certainly don't. But someone pointed out to me, it's like, why are you in yoga? It's not your thing. You should just keep on bodybuilding because you look great, but that's not really who you are. I'm like, well, I kind of like the relaxation of it, but he's like, can you do the poses right? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the poses okay, but my body's not built for like some of the poses I can't do just because of the way my body is. It's weird. I mean, for me, I think I look good. I think I look normal, but someone pointed that out to me. I'm like, I can just start swimming, actually. And then when I started swimming instead of yoga, I felt a lot better, actually. I felt a lot more free. I felt a lot more like me. I felt like that was more in alignment with who I am, actually. And when I say swimming, I'm not even a strong swimmer, but I do a lot of like underwater aerobics, and that became like almost more of a connection with the divine than when I was doing yoga. Because when I was doing yoga, I was scared everyone's looking at me, and I was like all awkward and weird. But when you're under the water, no one can really see your body that much. And I've always been shy. Even when I was a little skinny size 3 and I looked really good, even in a bikini and everything, I still always felt like awkward and shy, and I didn't want people to look at me. So when this person said that to me, he said it so heartfelt, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Maybe I could do something different. I was trying to connect with divine, and then I realized that the gym where I was going, like the pool had this beautiful, it was man-made rock formation, but they had a lot of plants, and there's always birds flying overhead, and I felt a lot more of a strong connection with divine being outside in nature, swimming in the pool, even at night with my kids. I mean, it got to a point where we were in that gym 3-4 days a week, sometimes every day. And we all started like coming closer together as a family. We were like, I felt more spiritual than I had in a long time. Changing that up, Sometimes you got to reinvent yourself. Like, what if you really want to do yoga and you never did? Well, try it. Maybe that is your thing. Maybe you don't like the way that you're meditating. Maybe you hate just sitting in silence. It drives you frickin' batty. If it's creating stress in your life, you need to stop. out. Instead, go on a bike ride in nature. That might be your connection. So you got to look at yourself spiritually. You know, so are you, let's see what I write here. So like if you really hate hot yoga or meditation, or you just need to find a different way sometimes. Sometimes not everyone's path is yoga. Not everyone's path is meditation. Sometimes it might just be straight up like logical mindfulness. That's okay too. There's no wrong way to be spiritual. And maybe your spirituality is receiving Holy Communion on Sundays in the church of your choice. You know, whether you believe in consubstantiation or transubstantiation, you know, it doesn't matter. But maybe that's your connection. Maybe that's the thing that you connect with the most. Smelling of the incense and lighting a candle at the back of the church. If you're Catholic, that's a huge thing. Maybe you do like to pray on your rug and that's your connection with divine. You know, if you're a Muslim, that's really powerful. It's very sacred. Maybe you want to go to SRF, not SRF, SRF, Self-Realization Fellowship. Maybe your thing is to go and just sit quietly, meditate, but instead of sitting on yoga mats in a circle, you sit in, you know, pews like a church, like a temple, but it's really, you know, or maybe your spirituality is reciting the Torah. You know, light candles around your house, recite the Torah, or read from the Talmud. Or maybe if you're a Hindu, your thing is to get a CD of Ravi Shankar's the Bhagavad Gita, and you're reciting the Bhagavad Gita. That's very deeply spiritual stuff. Or maybe it's just playing a guitar and singing around a campfire with your friends, right? So now professionally, you need to look at yourself professionally too, and business-wise as well. You know, so I wrote the phrase "one versus many" because back in the day, like the 1800s and the early 1900s, when people picked a profession, that is what they did for the rest of their lives. Period. One thing. I'm a teacher, always been a teacher, could be teacher forever. I'm a nun, could be nun forever. It was almost blasphemous or shocking when someone would change their profession. Like, ooh, I wonder what happened to him. He was a farmer for 30 years and, oh my God, now he's going to university to be able to that's just unheard of. It's shocking. But nowadays, it's not at all uncommon to have 5 to 6 different careers over the course of your adult life. You know, you might start off as a grocery store manager, and 5 years later, you now have got a lawn care business, maybe in 3 cities or 3 counties. Then you sell that and maybe become a nurse or a doctor. It's not uncommon. You know, there are people who study law and they become lawyers and they realize they just wanted to go into medicine. Or maybe they became a dentist to please their parents, but they really just wanted to be a network marketer and sell vitamins. You know? I mean, if you're not happy where you are in your career, you have to search yourself. And sometimes you need to go backwards and look at who you were when you were 5 years old. You know, people came up to you and said, hey, you know, little Billy, what did you want to do when you were, or, you know, little Billy, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know, and you'd say, I want to be a firefighter. Well, are you a firefighter? That was an inappropriate Heyoka Freudian slip. If you're if you're not a firefighter, but that was like you played with fire trucks and that's all you thought about, and you went to sleep at night thinking about putting fires out and saving people and rescuing cats out of trees, and that was like your first idea of, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do that. And then you became an adult. Now you're just a freaking like accountant or something, or you work in an office. How come you're not a firefighter, man? or, maybe, I don't know, just whatever it is. Like, there's always room for your personal growth in the way that you can always go back to university. There's no age limit. When I was in university, I saw people in their 60s and 70s taking a few classes or working towards a degree. It's literally never too late. If you still have got life and breath in you, you still have time to change it up, baby. You can change anything. So emotionally, I want you to, professionally, I did write something else. Maybe you like what you're doing, but you need a side hustle. Well, do something you really like. I mean, maybe you want to sexy it up if you're a lady and sell lingerie and have lingerie parties. That's really fun. I had a friend who called me. She said, do you want to have a sex toy business with me? I'm all, no, not quite me. It's not me at all. But if you do it, I would support you. I'd be emotionally supportive if that's your thing. Just like, it'd be just so fun, I'm like, yeah, maybe for you. For me, it's weird. I don't know. I'm just too Virgo. I'm like, I'm like an 1800s conservative person, like in some ways. Like, that's not me, but okay. But maybe your thing is, it might be cheesy and weird, but you want to dress like a 50s housewife and sell Tupperware. Maybe you want to start a club, about, that kind of a thing, There's a lot of people that get the pinup model type tattoos, and they get all the clothes of the 40s and 50s pinup models, and they go and have photo sessions, as a way to feel like who they truly are inside. Like some people want to be the sexy, girly 1950s housewife, even if it's just a fantasy for to put up pictures around their house. It's really kind of strange. It's kind of in the rockabilly. People that listen to rockabilly music tend to dress like 1950s housewives. It's very strange phenomenon I encountered in Los Angeles, but I loved it. I'm like, oh, that's so unique, so strange and different, but I loved it. Maybe that's who you truly are inside, right? So professionally, are you respected, and do you respect yourself? If you don't respect what you do, or people don't respect you doing what you do, maybe you're not in the correct hustle. You're not in the correct career or profession, or maybe you need to be a business owner. If your boss doesn't like you and you've never had a boss that likes you, maybe because you yourself are, kind of bossy in a way that you are a leader. Okay, so maybe, are you really dressing the correct part for the job you want? If you're dressing as casual as possible, maybe you need to step it up. Get those Armani suits going. You could probably get some pretty good stuff at Ross Dress for less if you don't have a lot of money. But if you have the money, but you've been holding back, don't hold back anymore. Life is too short to hold back, right? So do you have confidence in yourself and confidence in what you do? You could take classes on learning how to act as if you've already got the thing you need, the thing you want. Act as if you are a partner in your law firm, if that's where you're at, what you want to do. Or that you're a CEO or a president, even if you're still in the mailroom. Or act as if you are a business owner and you're very responsible. Even if you're unemployed, you can still get up and put on a suit and leave the house. And the whole time imagine and visualize the life that you want and work towards the goal. Go meet up with angel investors to get you started. There's no law says you can't. Reinvent yourself right now. Whether you're 25 or 85. If you're still live and kicking, it's time. It's time to fix it. What if you're not happy? So emotionally, in your interpersonal relationships, are you fulfilled? Do you even like your friends? maybe you've had the same friends for 20, 30 years and you realize that they're not woke. Maybe they're a little racist. Maybe they still tell jokes that are off color or sexist jokes, and it's kind of irritating you now. You've outgrown that. Maybe it's time for new friends. If you're a Green Party member or a very liberal person, and most of your friends are very conservative Republicans, it's time to take a good look at that. Or vice versa. If you're very conservative, why are all your friends liberals? I mean, you gotta, it's nice to be friends with people of all walks of life. I have friends that are from all religious backgrounds, all countries. I have friends from all over the world in all religions, and I respect all of them. I love them all. But your core group, the people that you hang with the most, if you are a social person and want to hang with those people, you've got to take a good hard look and see if you're in alignment with where they're at and where they're going with their lives. If you're trying to get something going and you're trying to build an empire so that you can leave a legacy for your kids and change the world in a way that you will be known, they will talk about you in books in the future, then you probably shouldn't be hanging out with the stoner crowd or a biker crowd or a go nowhere crowd. If you're trying to change the world and you're not surrounded by people who also want to change the world and you're not bouncing that synergistic energy off each other, then why are you all still hanging out? Sometimes you got to phase out your old friends in order to meet new people that are more in alignment with who you are and have more integrity with their souls the way that you have now with your soul, right? Now, physically, are you in alignment with what you want to be? I know I'm not, for sure. This is one I've got to work on for absolute certain. You could go to, by the way, for any of these things, go to meetup.org to get new friends. Or is it meetup.com? I think it might be meetup.com, actually. We'll check both of them out just in case. I think it might be .com, but now I can't remember. I think it's meetup.com. I've told a lot of my friends to do this, and they've ended up going to really cool groups, meeting really cool people. What if your whole life you were secretly interested in witchcraft? Well, there's witchcraft groups on Meetup. What if you grew up around people who could give a damn less about art and music? And now, if you're in Detroit, I saw people who go to like the opera and the symphony as a group. I saw art lovers group where they all say, hey, we're having a meetup. We're going to the Detroit Institute of the Arts. We're sitting on the lawn. We're watching Selma Hayek's new artistic film and animation about Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, for example. I actually went to that. And then there's the nerds that want to talk about science and wear an ugly Christmas sweaters and have an ugly Christmas sweater party during the holidays. You could find your people. I went to the Yala Arabi group, which was excellent, over in San Francisco when I lived there, because I wanted to learn to speak Arabic. I thought it'd be very interesting. So we would go to, there's this one lady, she had a really nice house in the Oakland Hills, and we would go and visit, and we'd all bring food and drinks and kind of share with each other. And we all had different reasons for wanting to learn Arabic. Some of us just curiosity, and some of us because we wanted to go to Hajj someday because we're Muslim, and some of us because we were involved with people. Like the lady whose house it was, her daughter married somebody from Yemen. And she wanted to understand his language more and more about his culture. So we went and we watched a movie about, well, it wasn't about Yemen, but it's about Lebanese culture and about, it gave us insight. And also we learned a lot of Arabic from it. There's a lot of things, so like if you aren't fulfilled emotionally, if all your guy friends want to talk about is boring life stuff that just makes you want put a nail through your head with a nail gun, It's time to get new friends. If you aren't intellectually stimulated by the people around you, and you're not spiritually motivated, and you're not striving to be the best person you can be on every level of your life, because your friends are all just lazy bastards, then it's time to get new people. Time to get new people in your life, You don't have to phase them out 100%. You could still see them once a month or something until you don't need them anymore. Always be there for them if they need you. But see, sometimes you outgrow your people, And sometimes you have long-term friendships that you just love them forever. It's never going to change. And they do encourage you. And they are there for you. If friends aren't there for you and they're not encouraging you, and instead they're kind of making fun of your life choices, time to get new friends. Life's too short to put up with that crap. So mentally, physically, I went to physical and went back to emotional. All right, so physically, are you a healthy weight? Are you the weight that you are okay with? Are you comfortable with your weight? If you like your love handles, you think you're kind of sexy and the ladies kind of like it or the men kind of like it or whatever, that's okay. If you're okay with it, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But if you feel like, I could probably look better, I want to be healthier, maybe you're growing up, you have kids and your kids are grown and maybe you're going to have grandkids soon, you feel like, I should probably be in shape for them so I could run around with the little ones when they come along. I don't want to die early. I want to have a long life so I could see my grandkids. I've met people, my great-grandma, I've met people who have their great-grandparents around still. It's pretty cool, So maybe you just aren't healthy and you want to get healthier. You're not in shape, you want to get in shape. Do you punish your body? Do you starve yourself sometimes because you're not happy? You got to get out of that. You got to reinvent yourself and realign with who you should be. You should love each and every cell in your body. It's doing its best. If you're not feeling good and you're not healthy or you're overweight or whatever it is, you're out of shape. Maybe you're not overweight at all, but you're skinny fat. And skinny fat is when you have no definition at all. You kind of swear to God you're born without muscles. You're just kind of a blob, but you're very skinny. Some people are skinny fat. That's what they call it, skinny fat. It's hilarious, right? It doesn't sound good at all, right? So it's almost like a backhanded compliment. No, you're skinny fat. It's when you're kind of blobby and, you sit up the wrong way and now you just pulled something because, but maybe you want to change that. That's okay. Go get a personal trainer. Go start swimming. Go hop on the treadmill. Go hop on your bicycle. Do a mindfulness exercise for 10 minutes a day. Go walking. Go, lift weights a little bit. Not hardcore weights. Don't do steroids or anything insane, but you have to stop body shaming yourself. Accept where you are and know where you're going and tell your body, hey, look where we're going. This is cool, right? Encourage your body. Out loud or in your mind, just encourage yourself. You have to learn to be okay with your body and be okay with where you're going with your body, not body shaming and mad at yourself and angry, because that's just spinning your wheels in a negative way. So, all right, now where are you mentally? Are you challenged enough? Are you reading enough? Are you educated enough? Do you want to be educated in another way? Are you overly challenged? Maybe your job is driving you crazy mentally. You don't have, your mind can't get a word in edgewise. Maybe you just don't have time to think of that novel you want to write on your weekends or your evenings. You want to be John Grisham, but your boss is piling all this crap on you mentally that now you can't even think of a plot line. Did you guys know that? John Grisham, he wrote his first novel while waiting in court for his cases to be heard. And he'd write it on legal pads. So cool, right? But maybe you are educated and you do have a degree, but now it's time for a new one. Or maybe you have a bachelor's and it's been 20 years. Now it's time to go to grad school. Maybe it's time to get your PhD. Maybe it's time to get your second PhD. Or maybe it's time to enroll in certification classes. Or just take a class on Coursera.org for free, I might add. I've taken a lot of fun classes on that website. I took a class in terrorism, not a how-to. Never a how-to. But I took a class on what groups are terrorists in the world. Where are they? How do you avoid them? If you're traveling, how to look it up. To see if you're going to be safe or not. I almost took my kids to Algeria because I had a friend there. And then I found out that there was a lot of radicalized terrorist groups there, and they like to kidnap Americans. And I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not going there. You know what? My friend that I was going to go visit, he's actually right now in Los Angeles, California. I think he's on a vacation, or maybe he moved there. But he was in New York City. He was living in Manhattan, and he worked in a Chinese restaurant, and they gave him food. And then when it came time for his paycheck, they said, screw you, you're an illegal alien. Oh, well. And he was legally there, but he was working illegally, and they knew it. And they took advantage of him, and they used him like a slave. But he got all the free Chinese food he wanted. And last time we talked about it, he's like, now I'm working in an office. I'm making way more money than I deserve. I cannot believe I found this job. He met a guy who liked him, and he hired him, and I think he's making like, I don't know, 60, 70, 80,000 a year. You know, when I met him, he's driving a bulldozer in Algeria, and he's a wildlife nature photographer. And like, amazing. If I could open up a gallery, his stuff he'd be one of the first shows I do. He's extremely talented. I've known him, God, like 7, 8 years. But, you know, it's just, for him, he wasn't mentally challenged enough, and he reinvented himself, you know. He's like, I'm running a bulldozer. I deserve more than this. And now he's in college. He was taking university classes and working full-time in Manhattan. Improved his English. He learned English. He mentally challenged himself until he felt happy. And that's what we need to do. We need to take... sometimes we need to take a chapter from other people's books. How did other people mentally challenge themselves? There was a lady that T. Harv Eker, I might have mentioned this story a few months back. There's a lady who was taking T. Harv Eker's class, his 3-day Millionaire Mind seminar. And she was like 86 years old or something, like really old. And she wanted to learn something new. She challenged herself and went to this. And it's to reset your money blueprint so that you have the mind of a millionaire. And I probably should put this on one of my links in my website. I have a lot of updating on my website to do soon. I'll do it when Mercury goes direct. But she burst out crying in one of the sessions when he started asking people, what was your one true childhood dream? And you didn't fulfill it. And she started crying, and she said, oh my God, I always wanted to play the piano, and my mom could never afford the lessons. And she was jealous of all of her friends whose mothers made them go to lessons, and they hated the piano. She always thought that was so sad, like such a waste, you know? Like they didn't want that. They were forced to do it. And she wanted it and couldn't do it. And always felt sad about it. And so he said, all right, I'm going to challenge you right now. I want you to come back a year later and tell me how your piano lessons went. Can you afford them now? She's like, oh, of course. I have a retirement. I've had a retirement for years. Lessons aren't that much. And he goes, then go. Go out and learn how to play the piano. And when I see you next, I want to hear like a recording or something. Well, she brought in a videotape and showed the whole class of her doing her first concert, her first recital. And she was really good. This is like a year after she had, taken classes and learned everything. And she came back and he said, by God, she looked younger. She had such a gleam in her eye. She was so happy. So what would make you happy? Mentally, what can you challenge yourself to do? Like maybe you avoided taking a philosophy class like the plague, but you've always been kind of curious about it. Take a philosophy class. thegreatcourses.com or coursera.org or Udemy. I think it's udemy.com. Maybe it's Udemy. You just look it up on Google and you'll see it. There's all these places where you can now take brand new courses. And also with the spirituality, go to mindvalleyacademy.com. They have some of the best courses I've ever seen in my life that have actually changed my life. And they're so positive, They're so positive and so amazing. So yeah, mindvalleyacademy.com. And maybe your spirituality will come in the form of movies. Go to Gaia I Am TV. Gaiam TV, G-A-I-A-M. Just look it up, just Gaiam TV, and it'll be like Gaiam.org, I think. They also have a yoga channel. If you don't want to do yoga in front of other people. All yoga, all the time. You could actually take anything from kickboxing to Tai Chi to yoga online. Falun Dafa, you can learn Qigong on YouTube. There's all kinds of websites out there that have everything you want to do for free. The 5 Himalayan rites that will reverse your aging so you look young again, beautiful again, reverses all diseases, all signs of aging. If you're very old and you're a woman, your breasts won't sag anymore and you might even get your period again. And some of you don't think that's a benefit, but it kind of is. Get all those hormones back that you've lost. They've been depleted over the years. For the men, same thing. I mean, your boobs won't sag. You'll get your hormones back. You'll get your mojo back. And your hair will grow back the same, your original hair color. No more Grecian formula for you guys. No more VO5. It's true. It can really happen. So I want you guys to look at yourselves personality or personally wise, spirituality wise, professionally, emotionally, physically, mentally, and dimensionally. Are you accepting all of the changes in your DNA? Are you feeling so much pain and so much mental fogginess and so much bloating in your body because you're not accepting that we're raising to the 5th dimension? If you just say right now out loud, I accept that this is happening. I accept being in the 5th dimension and I look forward to my DNA changing so that I can be the best self I can be. I am looking forward to the fact that I can manifest just like that, baby. It's so fast. The manifestation is so fast now. Accept the telepathy with your twin soul, whether they're in heaven or on earth. Accept it. At first it's going to sound like a little crazy. It's going to make you feel weird, like, oh man, maybe I'm crazy. But accept this stuff. So, and finally, these are the questions you need to ask yourself in all of these categories. Ask yourself these questions. Am I truly happy? Am I being the best I can be? Am I happy to be alive? Am I happy to wake up every day? Do I bound out of bed with a lot of energy? Do I feel like shouting from the rooftops, thank God I'm here? Do I stay awake at night thinking about how great tomorrow's going to be? How I can't wait to start the day tomorrow? I can't wait to get out of bed and do what I do because this is my passion. Am I following my heart? Am I listening to my inner voice? Am I connected to my soul? Am I following my passion? Am I living my highest truth? Do I have integrity in every area of my life? Am I living in integrity? So, here's more questions. Do I smile more often than I frown during the day? Do I laugh more than I cry? Does life bring me joy? Does that joy and sense of fulfillment come to me every day? Do I attract the right people, places, circumstances, and things with my positive mental attitude? Am I connecting to divine in the way that I need to? Do I look forward to my life? Do I look forward to having an amazing future? 20 years from now, can I look back on my life right now and say beyond a shadow of a doubt, I have no regrets? If you do the rocking chair test, you're going to understand where you are for real. Put yourself mentally in a space where you imagine you're 98 years old, sitting on a porch, sipping your lemonade, you're in a rocking chair, and you're talking to your best friend. And you guys are talking about how great your life has been. Are you regretting anything in this moment when you imagine that? Were you your most loving self with everybody? Did you accept everybody and have compassion for everybody, including yourself? Did you forgive your parents for all the ways they screwed up when you're a child? Because face it, all parents mess up, even me as a mom. Everyone is messed up. You can't help yourself. For kids, don't come with instructions. There's no manual. It's just you fly by the seat of your pants, and sometimes you don't know how to handle a situation, So did you forgive yourself for making those mistakes? Did you forgive your parents? Did you love your kids as much as you could? Did you love your parents, family, friends, and neighbors as much as you could? Did you give your spouse the benefit of the doubt all the time? Did you accuse people, or did you just accuse people of doing things they didn't really do? Because it's coming from your fearful mind. Got to ask yourself all these questions. Do the rocking chair test, but I want you guys to get to a point where you can reinvent yourself in every area. Just do a new one every week. Don't work on all of it at once, because then you'll get overwhelmed and you'll just revert back to who you were. I don't want you guys to revert back to watching, Tool Time and eating your Cheetos and just saying, oh, life totally sucks. Don't revert back to that if that's what you did. I don't know, you people do. I'm just imagining. But I want you to just reinvent yourself. This week will be everything about your personality that you don't like. Let's fix it. That's okay. It's not too late. Spiritually, professionally, emotionally, physically, dimensionally, mentally. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. By the end of September, you could be good as new, completely reinvented, a completely brand new person. Hey, an example or one thing you could do to get there, watch Queer Eye. It's one of the best shows ever for reinvention. And it's also positive motivation. And I mean, every single episode makes me bawl my head off. I can't watch it. I ran out of Kleenex. I gotta go out and get more Kleenex before I watch another episode of that. Oh, it's horrible. My son and I will sit here and, why are we watching this? It's making us cry, but it's such a good show. Queer Eye for the Straight Guy used to be called. Now it's just called Queer Eye. Because they don't just help straight men, they help everybody now. one of the best shows ever. It's going to help you too. So where in your life do you need improvement? Where do you want to just completely reinvent yourself? Might just be your haircut, you know what I mean? Maybe you wear a lot of makeup and you want to go fresh. No more makeup for the ladies, right? Maybe you want to wear the new rabbit bra. You want to get all your bras out of your closet. I highly recommend that for sure. Maybe you don't burn them, atmosphere, environment. You don't want to add to the global warming crisis. Don't burn your bras, but hey. But, there's new things that you can do and try. Not diets. Don't ever do diets. Just eat better. More fresh fruits and vegetables, less grains, no more wheat. Cut down on the sugar or just eliminate it and go to honey. Anyway, whatever you decide to do and however you decide to reinvent yourself, I hope that throughout all of it, you don't shame yourself and you do accept yourself and you do love yourself. And remember, if you mess it up, just reinvent yourself again. Again and again and again. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I love each and every one of you. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for upcoming show ideas, please feel free to write me at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at mermaidgirl888. Until I can update those, that's where I'm at. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for being on this journey. Thank you for being my listeners. And thank you for passing my show along to a friend that might appreciate it as well. So now I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Till next time, guys. Peace. Chances are you've heard of CBD oil, but maybe you're a little afraid it might make you a little high or super drowsy. Possibly you're not going to pass mandatory drug testing at work. Am I right? Well, I found an amazing company. I'm including the link in this episode's description. Okay. This is derived from only the hemp plant. It does not contain THC, which is the factor in marijuana that makes you high. This CBD oil has been known to reverse aging, help you through weight loss issues. You will literally lose weight on our products if you want. Also reverses hair loss. It also helps you with things like insomnia, anxiety, pain in your muscles and joints, and it gives you benefits throughout your body with its high quality antioxidants. We even have a vape. Would you like to try the blueberry cheesecake? I know I would. I mean, there's so much danger with vaping these days, but not when it is only CBD oil. That's right. You could vape not only anytime you want, because it's not going to make you high, but it's also going to be healthy for you. How's that? Pretty cool, right? Well, go ahead and look in my episode description for my link. And, well, start using your CBD oil today. If you're interested in the business end of it, it's absolutely free to join. It's absolutely free every month, actually. I have never seen a business like this in all my life. So you can start, using your CBD oil, and you can start a brand new side hustle for yourself. Hey, as in, hey, Yoga Shaman approves of this message. I love you guys. And, well, here's to your health.